Good afternoon. Did I scare you? This is always my favorite sale of the year. Do you know why? It's the last one. Every day since July, I'm ready to sleep in. Those of you that are here from the St. Clair sale, like you probably owe you a little explanation what happened that day. Everything that happens with all of our computers runs through a box in Chicago. That day, that box in Chicago decided not to wake up. We couldn't register people. We couldn't do any invoices. We couldn't show any pictures on the screen. We couldn't do anything. So we had two options. We could either do everything on paper, which we didn't even have a form for, or we could just move it here. So here we are. So that's what happened. First time in 20 years it's happened to us. But things happen every once in a while. Anyway, I'm going to guess a whole bunch of you are brand new at this. How many of you have never been to one of these sales before? You're just a little terrified and you're about ready to do something really, really stupid. Somebody just held their hand up that's his is still up. Watch it very close. We're going to go through the rules and regulations of the sale before it begins so that everybody's on the same page, knows what's going on. This should not be a real long sale today. We don't have a lot of property. We have a lot of popular property today, but we don't have a lot of property, so it'll go fairly quickly. We've had these sales run before until 11:30 at night. This is not going to be one of them. We should be out of here well before 2 o'clock. I almost guarantee that. You have to have a valid photo ID in order to bid today. You have to be registered prior to placing your bid and have one of those bid cards in your hands. When you bid today, you are accepting the rules of sale. We've hidden them in your book on the page that says rules and regulations. Whatever you're bidding on, the rules for that sale are listed right there. Take a look at them before we get to your parcel so that you know exactly what we're dealing with here today. These properties have been through a judicial foreclosure process. People ask me all the time, can the last owner still wander in and pay the taxes and get the property back? The answer to that is no. There's a circuit court order on file. There's a state law that says title to these properties is cleared as of April the 1st of 2019. The title to these properties is free and clear in the name of the treasurer, and that's about the end of that. Anybody that held a deed or a land contract interest in these properties, mortgages, security agreements, construction liens, IRS and other tax liens, municipal utility charges, condo and property owner association fees, everything of that nature, all of those people were sent notice. Their interests have been voided by a court order. It's being sold today free and clear of any of those types of title liens or interests. Certain things are not foreclosed by tax foreclosure. They include easements. If you buy something today and it's got a great big power line running through the middle of it, that power line stays. If there's a road to the piece of property that you're buying today, if there's a road across something that you're buying today that services another property, if that's an easement, it stays. If the mineral rights have been retained by a former owner, if they were split off in the past and sold to a third party, they're still split. The rule of thumb on mineral rights is if the last owner had them, you get them today. If they didn't, you don't. If you buy something today, and we've got them, if you buy something today that's in a condominium, of sale requirements, if they're applicable in the county the property is located in. If we sell you something today and it's got a crop on it, it was planted this year with the intention of harvesting it this year, that crop belongs to whoever put it in the ground. We are reserving the right today in any property that's sold for the person that planted a crop to harvest that crop if that happens this year. So if you buy a piece of property and it's covered in corn, it's not your corn. Everything sold today is being sold as is, where it is, with all of its faults and defects, whether visible, invisible, known, unknown, anything of the kind. You're buying it as is, where it is, the way it sits when the hammer comes down in this room. Not everything is all that clear as to what you're buying. Sometimes they sneak up and bite you. Sometimes what you buy is not what you expect. There's a perfect example. We sold that back in early August in a little itsy-bitsy town in the Upper Peninsula called Segola. I look at all the property in about 30 counties every year. That one right there, I went around it 3 or 4 times trying to find a way to get inside to take pictures. I finally did get inside, and it looked like that. Not at all what I expected from Grandma's little cabin in the woods. Remember what we told you about crops. Please know what you're buying today. Everything that we're selling is here Many of them for a reason. Everything is sold by quitclaim deed, as is whereas. What you're buying is the legal description of property listed in your book. If you look at the parcel you're interested in, it's going to say legal description. It's either a measured description of a piece of land, it's a subdivision name and a lot number, or it's a condominium unit name and unit number. That's what you're buying today. We don't sell by address, we don't sell by photographs. You're buying the legal described property as listed in your book. These properties can have many problems, that's why some of them are here. You're going to find things like bad foundations, septic systems that don't work, wells that have gone dry, leaking roofs, frozen plumbing, asbestos, lead-based paint, property line disputes, underground storage tanks, contamination, you name it, we've got it today, no extra charge. Everything is sold as is, where is, including that one. That house right there, that's up in the Upper Peninsula too. It's got a brand new furnace. The reason you have trouble seeing it, it's underneath 3 feet of water. Know what you're bidding on today. There are no refunds. All sales are final. The time to do your homework is before the sale and not afterward. When we sell today, here's how we do it. Everybody's got a copy of that book, that sale book. I've got one that's already got a bunch of scribbling on it, and there's a reason for that. I've already got 93 bids on these properties that were taken online before the sale today, before 11 o'clock. We generally sell them in the order they're listed in the book. However, we move properties to the front of the line if they have a lot of interest. I've got about 10, maybe 12 pieces of property. We don't have a big list today. I think we've got about 50 pieces of property. Some of them nobody wants. Nobody in the room asked for them to be circled over there. I have no online bids on them. Those pieces are going to get skipped today. We're not going to open up a bunch of junk and make you sit here and watch those. We're here to sell you what you came to buy. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do 2 rounds. We're going to do a first round of the most popular pieces. Everybody went through the line. They told the clerks what they were here to bid on. If I got stuff, I think I got something in here that I saw already that I had like 20 bids online for. If I've got property that a lot of people want, we're going to sell those first so that most of you can get the heck on out of here. Then we're going to go back through the book a second time. We're going to sell the pieces you guys in the room are here to bid on. If I've got something that I only have online bids for, if I have something that I have nobody interested in, we're going to skip those so you don't have to watch them. The bid increments, this is how the mechanics of the bidding work. In your book, you're going to see a number that says minimum bid for each piece of property that we're selling today. That's not a number that we just made up out of thin air. That's what that piece of property owes the county. The goal today is to sell some of this property for enough money to pay all of those charges. That's the back taxes. There's been lawn mowing that's been done, windows that have been boarded up, some have been defended in court. Whatever that individual piece of property owes the county is the minimum bid. The bidding starts there. We can't go any lower than that number in the book. It'll start higher than that number if I already have bids online. Once the bidding opens, we then increase by the numbers you see on the screen. Until we hit $1,000, it goes up at least $50 per increment in round numbers. $250, $300, $350, $400. No dollar bids, no chopping it in half. The people online have to bid in those minimum increments, and so do you. Feel free to jump the bid if you want. If we've got something, we open it up and it's $800 in that book and you want it really bad, feel free to stand up and shout out $250,000. That's called jumping the bid, and by golly, it works. We're going to ask you to jump the bids at certain times. If I got a bunch of people interested in something, or if I've got an online bid on something that's 50 grand and you're bidding 1,000, I might try to get you there faster if I already know right in front of me how far you have to go to become the high bidder. We have several ways to bid today. All of you guys in the room with your bid cards, we have bids that were placed before 11 o'clock in the morning. I know which properties, how many bids, and how high they'll go. It's right here in front of me. We also have a camera in the front of the room. People can bid against you in real time, live, as it happens. I want to remind the people that are watching that camera online today, we don't have any control over the internet, neither on our end or on your end. Do not use the video stream as your reference for what's happening in the room. Use the text on your screen. It's much more accurate. There's always a delay with the audio and video, regardless of how fast the line is. If you win today, you have to pay today, and you have to pay in full today. We're going to probably be done before 2 o'clock, maybe even 1:30. It should move pretty quick. Once we're done, as soon as I sell a piece, I put it in my computer. You can check out right then if you're prepared to pay. There's always somebody straggling that's got to leave the building because they came to the auction with no money. Why people do that, I don't know, but they do. Once we're done checking everybody out that we can see, we're putting the tops on the boxes and leaving. If you can't pay within a very reasonable amount of time after the end of the sale, you shouldn't be bidding at all. If you can't pay till 4 or 5 o'clock today, you shouldn't be bidding. Within about 30 minutes of the time that we sell the last piece, we're going to be out of here. So that's going to be probably 2 or not much after that. So that's probably about the amount of time you've got to pay today. If you're bidding online, you'll get an email sometime around midnight tonight with instruction on how to send your payment in. First $1,000 you give us today, if you came prepared, if you read the rules, you know that you should have a cashier's check made out in your name. We'll figure it out if it's made out in another name, but you should have $1,000 in cashier's check certified funds. That's your non-refundable deposit. The first $1,000 you give us that way. Anything over and above that, we will take your personal or business check, money orders, additional cashier's checks, or your credit card. Visa, MasterCard, and Discover are what we take. We also do not any longer accept cash. We used to take cash. In fact, we used to take way too much cash. It was uncomfortable. And then somebody came to the sale and gave us a whole bunch of money that they printed at home. So we just don't take it anymore. It's also safer if you're not carrying it. What are you going to pay if you win? Here's how the math works. We're going to arrive at a final bid price on each piece of property here in the room. There are 3 things added to that. There's a 10% buyer premium. That's the cost of this sale. $30 is what it costs to have your deed recorded in Michigan. You're going to buy a piece of property today. Before you get the deed, it's going to be recorded with the registered deeds at the courthouse and then mailed to you. Also, the legislature requires that before you get the deed, the summer taxes have to be paid. Rather than send everybody here off in a scurry to go pay them and then bring the receipts down to the county building, we're just going to collect that money today and pay that bill for you. Each piece of property at the end of the description says summer tax due. That amount is going to be collected today in addition to the bid price, the 10% buyer premium, and the $30. So that's what you're going to pay today. Do that math in your head before you start bidding so you know exactly how far you can go. If you need to leave the building after you win something, let the clerks know what your bidder number is, give them your cell phone number, let them know how long it's going to take for you to get back. Also, many of you have done it online, but if you have not, we're going to need to know what names to put on the deed to the property that you buy today. So if you buy something and you haven't done it on the website, there's a form in your book to fill out that says deed information. These are going to be the names and addresses of the people that the deed is made out to for the property that you buy. First of all, as far as your own name, use your full legal name, the way it appears on other legal documents, the way it appears on your driver's license. Don't use nicknames. If everybody calls you Bubba, don't put this on that form. Use your full legal name. If you're buying property with somebody else today, there are a couple of things that apply in this section as well. First of all, if you're going to put more than one name on this deed information form, and if it's somebody that you're not married to, it's a friend, a relative, a business partner, we need to know what happens to the title to that property if one of you dies. The page after the deed information form has those options. Take a look at those, pick one out. We are required to ask you and put that on the form before we fill it out. Also, if you're buying a piece of property today and there's going to be a name on it of somebody that's not in this room, you should be able to contact them by phone to ask them some questions before you check out. We'll get to that in a minute. When you leave today, you'll be getting a contract, a receipt for your purchase today. You don't leave here today with the deed. It's not like a car where we sign over the title and give it to you. A deed has to be created, it has to be recorded with the registered deeds, then it's mailed to you after it's official. What you leave here with today is basically a purchase agreement. It's our contract of your buying the property today. Please keep in mind that you are not the owner when you leave here today. You're the buyer. State law says that you're the owner of the property when that deed is in your hands. That's going to be about 6 weeks. When you get your copy of your receipt, before you sign it, they're going to slide it in front of you and ask you to look at it. Here's what you're looking for. check your name. Make sure that it's your full legal name, the way it appears on other documents. Make sure that it's spelled correctly. Make sure your address is correct, that the 4-digit number in the left-hand column of the sale book is right. You don't want a deed to the wrong piece of property. Make sure that the map is all correct. Once you sign it, once you go home, that's the wrong time to start looking at that form. Look at it when they give it to you. Make sure that any piece of information on there that's variable is correct. When you sign it, you're agreeing to the terms of the sale. The things we're talking about now, the rules and regulations that are in the book, you're agreeing to them when you sign it. You're also agreeing that you've had the opportunity to inspect the property. Nobody forced you to buy anything here today. You came here with your own money, made your own decisions. You're happy with what you bought. Your homework's been done. You're agreeing that you're buying it as is and that there are no refunds. Here's an important one. I told you a minute ago that you're not the owner until the deed is in your hands. That is state law. That's part of this process. Once in a great while, we sell, I think this year so far, we've sold about 2,000 pieces of property in the last 45 days or so. Usually once a year, out of all those sales, something needs to get walked back. Somebody might have filed for bankruptcy a while ago in another state and they never told anybody here. Somebody might be protected by a guardian. They never alerted the county treasurer's office that there was a court-appointed guardian, something weird like that where we didn't have the legal authority to sell. If that happens, the treasurer has the right under state law to cancel the sale until the delivery of the deed. Until you have that piece of paper in your hand, the deed that shows up in your mailbox that's recorded with the register of deeds, you are not yet the owner of the land. You're just the buyer. It's subject to cancellation. If it has to be canceled, it very seldom happens. If it does, what you get back is what you paid today. Please keep this in mind. If you are buying something today that is vacant land, if you're buying something today that has a building on it, but it is not occupied, there's nobody living there, with the exception of a couple of parcels that are specifically noted as such in the book, with the exception of those, you generally should not make any investment in these properties. You should not even walk on them until you have the deed because you're not the owner. I can tell you that 10 times. I can make you sign a piece of paper that says you agree to it. And I know from my experience that you're going to be in there by 5 o'clock tonight anyway. Aren't you? Because that's how this all works. So this is part of your checkout process today. We are going to authorize you to take possession of vacant land and unoccupied buildings today for 3 specific purposes. You can inspect them, you can secure them, and you can maintain them. You're not authorized to begin any demolition. You're not authorized to move in. You can change the locks, check out the inside, take your flashlight, your tape measure, look around, start making your list, start planning what you're going to do. Don't do anything until you have the deed. If your sale is one of the ones that has to be canceled for some weird reason, you only get back what you paid today. If you put a new roof on it, you just bought somebody else a new roof. So please keep that in mind. Between today and the time that you get the deed, you're in possession in exchange for indemnifying, I should say, you're indemnifying the county for claims from injury, loss, or damage. If you go on a property and you're injured, that's on you. You're agreeing to accept that in exchange for early possession today. If you leave your tools there, somebody breaks in and takes them next week before the deed is issued, you're indemnifying the county from that liability as well. You're assuming liability if you take possession between today and the time the deed is delivered, but please don't make any major investments in these properties until that happens. I mentioned that you should not list on that deed information form anybody that is not here today unless you can contact them before you check out, and here's why. This is another state law. They've made it very clear you are not allowed to buy property at these sales if you have any other property in these 2 counties, Lapeer and St. Clair. If you have any association with other property here and the winter 2018 or prior taxes are delinquent, we can't sell to you today. If you bid anyway, your sale will be canceled. We're going to look up all the names. We're going to look up the names of the people here that are bidding. We're going to look up the names of the people that are going to be listed on the deed. We're going to be looking up the names of the people that write the checks that are paying today. If you have any association with any other property in these two counties and the taxes are delinquent, your sale is going to be canceled and you have committed a crime. It's against the law for you to even try to buy here today. The clerks in the next room where you're checking out are notary publics. They're witnesses of the state. When you check out, they're going to ask you to verify that you heard what I just said and that you don't have any delinquent taxes. If you lie to them in there, if you forget about the 10 rental properties you own with delinquent taxes, it's just like lying to the judge. That's a witness of the state in the next room. If you misrepresent your delinquent tax status to those clerks in the next room, you've just committed the crime of perjury, which in Michigan is a felony. Sale gets canceled, your file gets sent upstairs to the prosecuting attorney's office. So if you've got any association with any property with delinquent taxes, please don't bid today. Before you put somebody else's name on that deed information form, you should get to them on the phone and say, hey, do you own anything in these counties that the taxes aren't paid up on? If they do, you shouldn't list their name on the form either. This includes property, not just your principal residence. It includes anything that you own that you've sold to a third party in a land contract, but you still hold the deed for. It includes property you co-own with siblings or business partners, or things held in an LLC or a corporate name. If you have any fingerprints on any property in these two counties and the taxes aren't paid, don't buy today. It's illegal for you to do so. After today's sale, if you win something, you have to send this form in. Everybody here's probably been to a couple of real estate closings where you sign about 9,000 pieces of paper and you don't even look at what they are. This is one of them. This is homework for you today. This is the Michigan Property Transfer Affidavit. You're buying a piece of property today. You want to get the tax bills from now on, or in 2 years, we'll be selling your stuff right here in this very room. So if you fill out this form, that's how we make sure that happens. You're going to fill this out. You're going to send it to the assessor's office in the city, village, or township where the property is located. You're telling them, hey, this property has a new owner. The parcel identification number for that form is listed in your sale book. You fill that out. You tell them that you bought it from the St. Clair or Lapeer County Treasurer. You tell them when you bought it and how much you paid for it. Theoretically, they're going to reassess that property and adjust the value to what you paid today. Don't count on it happening, but that's what should happen. You send that in within 45 days to either the city, village, or township assessor, depending on where that property is located, not to the county building, but to the city, village, or township. You've got 45 days to send it in. If you don't, they can fine you up to $200. Bunch of, there's some boxes on the bottom part of that screen, bunch of check boxes. None of those apply. We've looked at them all a couple dozen times. They don't apply. Some of them look like they might, but they don't. So don't check those. Fill out the top half, sign it at the bottom. You got 45 days to send it to the city, village, or township assessor's office. Title insurance, do you have to have it? No, you don't have to have title insurance to buy property in Michigan, but you'll need it if you're going to use that property as collateral in the future. If you're going to borrow money against the title of that property to build something on it, you'll have to have title insurance. Or if you're going to sell it to somebody else and they're going to borrow the money to buy it from you, you'll need title insurance at that point. Many times you can get it from a local title insurance agent without any trouble at all. Other times they'll come back with a laundry list about 4 pages long of things that they're going to want you to stand on one leg and hum in order to get title insurance from some of them. They'll want you to take all the former owners to court and get a quiet title action with an attorney. They'll want you to go get deeds. You don't have to do those things. That's the sign that you're dealing with the wrong title insurance agent. If they ask you to do those things, just get it somewhere else. There are some listed there on the screen that are decent places to get it. First American Title has a special office in Detroit that deals specifically with tax foreclosed land. Sun Title in Grand Rapids, Michigan, suntitle.com, has done a lot of title insurance on tax foreclosed properties. And the one at the top of that screen, which is up in Indian River, Michigan, right there in the middle of the mitten north between Gaylord and the Mackinac Bridge, snptitle.com, they have issued an awful lot of title insurance on tax foreclosed lands in the last few years as well. I mentioned earlier, everybody that had an interest in these lands as of April the 1st lost it. The court has entered a judgment. It's gone. April the 2nd is the day that the treasurer became the owner of this property. They've consented to no new liens or any charges against this property since that date. Anything that we are aware of as a charge against these properties after that date is in your book, included in today's minimum bid. Sometimes a few things will pop up afterward that you will assume the liability for. April the 2nd is the effective date of your purchase for any such charges. If, as an example, the city's been mowing the grass this summer, they sent us the bill, it's already included in today's minimum bid. If they're out mowing it today and we haven't gotten the bill yet, that bill belongs to you. If it is subject to condominium fees, property owner or homeowner association fees, we don't pay them because we're not liable for them. As of April the 2nd, you are. If you're approached about old condominium fees, old property owner or homeowner association fees that are before that date, they're gone, and the court says so. If there are any condominium fees or something of that nature after that date, you're assuming liability for them. If you are buying something today that's got municipal water or sewer, people refer to it as city water or city sewer. If you're buying something like that today, write down those 4 numbers on that screen. Otherwise, you'll be calling the office next week trying to figure out where they were. 7258 is the Michigan Attorney General opinion number that deals with tax foreclosed lands and city water and sewer bills. This is a scenario that we see play out over and over. Somebody buys a property at a sale like this. They call the water department to get it turned on, and lo and behold, the last guy not only didn't pay his taxes, he didn't pay his water bill either. Well, it froze a couple of years ago and ran all winter, and there's a $2,000 water bill sitting down there on somebody's desk, and they won't turn that water back on unless you pay the bill. The Attorney General says it's not your bill. It is not attaching to the property. It is a bill of the former owner or whoever used that water. They cannot refuse to turn the service back on if you won't pay it, and they cannot make you pay that bill. It's not your bill. It does not attach to that land. Municipal water and sewer charges are treated like everything else. As of that date on the screen, they're gone. Only utility charges that have accrued since April the 2nd belong to you. If we are aware of any such charges, they're already included in today's minimum bid. 7258, those are 4 numbers you're going to want to write down. If there's a fire hydrant or a municipal water meter anywhere near property that you're buying today, you can look that up. You can Google it, Michigan Attorney General Opinion 7258. Possession, we talked about it already. You buy something today, it's vacant land, it's a building that nobody's in, the power's off, there's nothing there. You have possession today, but you're not the owner. You have possession for purposes of security, maintenance, and inspection only. What do you do if you buy something and by golly, there's somebody there? You go there after the sale and there's somebody sitting in the chair watching the Lions game. If you buy a property and it's occupied, I see the word a couple times in today's book about a squatter. There is no such thing as a squatter in Michigan law. They're called occupants. If somebody's in that property today, even if you didn't give them permission to be there, you don't have the authority under Michigan law to just boot them out. You've got 2 options if there is somebody in a property today. One of them is the eviction process through the district court system. Standard forms, usually in less than a couple of months, unless they're really going to fight it, you'll get the property back. You can also often negotiate something with whoever's in a property. Go talk to the neighbors around there. If there's somebody in a piece of property, somebody right in that neighborhood probably knows them by name. They probably know enough information about them to know if it's safe for you to just walk up to the door, or if maybe they're a little bit off bubble. Find out what the situation is before you just go marching up to the door. Remember that you don't have the authority to throw anybody out. They're not squatters. There's no such thing. They're occupants. You have to evict them, or you have to negotiate the possession of the property. What we're selling you today is a piece of land. You are buying the land that's described in the book that's in your hands. You're buying whatever is physically attached. It's still subject to the ordinances, the regulations to that piece of property if the last owner owned it. Septic tanks, driveways, buildings, television antennas, furnaces, We can't sell you the Culligan Man's water softener because we don't own it. It's leased. It's attached, but we don't own it. We're selling you anything that's attached to the property that was taxed and owned by the last person that was there. We are not selling you, and we are not giving to you anything on the property that is not attached. If it's ever had wheels under it, if it's ever had separate titles, if it can be picked up and carried out, if it can be rolled out of that property, removed without the use of tools, we're not selling it today because we don't own it. If you buy a restaurant from us today, you get that vent hood because it's attached to the building, but we can't sell you or even give you the coffee cups because they're not ours. That's the analogy I want to use with you today. If you find anything on the property that is of value, again, find a neighbor, find out somebody that knows who the brand new Cadillac in the driveway belongs to, give them an opportunity to come and get it, cover your butt, take pictures, don't just get rid of things, keep them or sell them, if they're of value, without giving whoever they belong to the opportunity to come and get them. We do not warrant title to any kind of a building or structure on a property if it's ever had a separate title, if it's ever had wheels under it. We may not own it. On some of them, we have no way to even know. If it's ever been separately titled, it could be titled still in the name of a third party that was not an owner of the land, that was not sent notice of any kind. There isn't a judge around that won't let them take it. We have seen modular homes on concrete block foundations removed with the permission and order of the court when a third-party lender had an interest in that modular home but not in the land and was never sent any notice about the taxes being delinquent. So if you buy something today that's of that nature, wheels or ever separately titled, just remember we do not warrant the title. Generally they stay. If somebody shows up and demands to take it, make them show you an order of the court that gives them that authority. We're almost ready to start selling. When we do, it's just like riding that teeter-totter. I'm going to start at either the minimum bid listed in that book or a higher number if I have one. Then I'm going to come into this room and I'm going to find two bidders, generally speaking. Some of the popular pieces, we have a way to get there a little quicker, but on stuff where I just got a few people in the room, we're going to start with two bidders, just like riding that teeter-totter, back and forth until one of them slows down or gets off, and then I'll put somebody else on. Generally speaking, we don't have a bunch of people all bidding at the same time, except for the real popular pieces up front. Once we're down to one bidder in the room, then I'm going to go over here and see Clary. He's bidding for the people online and see if they want to keep on going. If you're brand new at this, most of you are. Here's a couple of tips, mistakes we see people make over and over. First of all, when you're done today, don't leave that card on your chair when you leave. Somebody can pick it up and have a whole lot of fun. I'll be calling you till later on today about paying up for all the property that you bought. Turn it in where you got it. Treat it like it's your brand new American Express card. If you've got a cell phone with you, just about nobody does anymore. If you got a child with you or somebody that's hard of hearing, or you told your husband he could bid up to $3,000 and he's just gone past 60, take it outside. We'll call the ambulance. If you make a mistake, we've had a couple people this year that got so wrapped up in what they were doing that they won a piece of property and then discovered that they were bidding on the wrong one, or they misunderstood the amount. If you find that you've done something like that, make sure that you let us know instantly as soon as you realize you've done it. Don't wait till the sale is over to fess up about a boo-boo. I can still resell that property before the other bidder hits that door over there. Be considerate of us, we will be considerate of you. Sometimes people are here because they've lost something, they're here to buy it back. Sometimes that works. More often than not, it does not. We can't control that. We are selling property because the court says that it is foreclosed and it is titled to the name of the county treasurer, and there's a state law that says it's going to be sold between that date, and that's why we're here. We're not doing this because we want to. We're doing that because we have a court order and a state law, and we're following both of them. That's why we're here. Be considerate of us. We will be considerate of you. When we say property is sold, it is. Don't wait till the last second to bid for the first time. If you wait till after I say sold and then you whip your card up and you want to complain that I missed you, you're going to save a lot of money today because you won't be buying anything. Bid early. I'll come back and look for the people that I know are interested in that piece of property. When you want to bid on something, get that card in the air and move it around and make some noise. I'll come looking for you. Don't wink at me unless you're asking me out. I have some time now. We're almost done for the year. Don't tug on your ear. Don't nod. I've had people that have a little twitch sometime at the sale, and that gets mighty expensive for them really quick. Use the card, make it obvious what you're doing. But once we say it's sold, it is. So don't wait till the last second to bid for the first time. Anybody have any other questions before we get going? Then we're going to go through I'm going to give you the numbers here of the ones that are the most popular. We're going to sell those first, and then we'll go back through the book a second time. Looks like we got probably about 12 of them. In Lapeer, we're going to sell 3802. That's the parcel on Slattery Road up Clifford Way. Then we're going to go down to 3807. That's a vacant parcel on Hunt Road that's got a well. Then we'll go to 3814 and 3815 and 3816. Those are two in Columbiaville and one around Silverwood on Swaff Road. That's the 10-acre piece. I got almost 30 people who want to buy that piece of land. While we're there, we'll also sell the one on Gertrude in Clifford. Then in St. Clair, we're going to jump down to 6126, which is on Riverside Avenue, and 6134, which is on Audubon Road. 6141 is on Arnold Road in Fairhaven. 6151 is on Richmond Road. And then we go back to the beginning of the book and start over. I'll give you those numbers here one more time. We're going to sell these first. 3802, 3807, 3814, 15, 16, and 20. Then 6126 and 6134, 6141, and 6151 in St. Clair. So we're going to sell those. Those are the most popular pieces. That's going to empty out almost all these chairs. Usually that's what happens. Then we'll go back and finish up what's left. I do have a lot of stuff in here that at least at the moment it looks like I have online bids on and nobody in the room. We're not going to make you watch those. You'll get to see a couple of them anyway. They can be kind of slow. I am not an auctioneer. I do not do the yabba dabba doo. I had a guy in Muskegon the other day, sat right down front. I said, why are you sitting so close? He said, you're going to talk really fast. You're going to try to confuse me. And I said, no, I'm not. I said, when I pick your pocket, you're going to feel my hand. I'm going to be pointing at the high bidder and say, going once, going twice, sold. When I say sold, it is. When I say going once, if you want to get into the bidding of something, you get in on it. By the time I say going twice, if I haven't seen you, get that card here, make some noise. If you got to throw shoes, by golly, you do it. But it's up to you to make sure your bid gets in. We're going to start with 3802. This is on Slattery Road, up Clifford Way. About 1 3/4 acres. Got farmland on 3 sides. There may be occupants there. Be advised of that. I've got 5 bids online on this piece. I've got 8 bidders in the room that came here to buy this one today. I told you already that sometimes we have bids come in before the sale that already raises the prices. This is one of those. $3,200 is what it says in the book. I'm already at $12,250 with the online bids, and I know exactly how high they'll go in advance of the sale. I've got 8 bidders in the room that came here to buy this one today. If you'll give me $13,000 for that, hold up your card. This is a way we get this done real fast. $13,000, and here's how we do this. You just keep your card in the air until I say a number you won't pay. We're going to get that teeter-totter down to 2 people the fast way. 13,000, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20,000, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, $30,000, 31, 32, I'm going to start with you at 32,000. Aren't you glad we didn't do that $100 at a time? 32,000 is where I'm starting at right here. Who in the room wants to give me 32,250? Anybody here for that one at $32,250? 32,250, 32 and a half. You want to give me 33? 33 and a half, 34 and a half, 35 and a half, 36. I've got 35.5 with the lady right here. Anybody in the room at 35,750? I've got 35.5 right there. 35.5 going once, twice. Sold it to you. 35.5, 163. My backup bidder, what's the number over there? The backup bidder is 260. Here's how the backup bidder works. She just won that piece of property for 35.5. Once in a great while, the winning bidder can't or won't pay. If that happens, you get a phone call that says 35.5 is what she bid. She didn't pay. We offer to you for 35,250. One bid increment below the final sale price. It's not negotiable. We're not allowed to by law. We can sell it to you for one bid increment below the final sale price if the winning bidder doesn't pay. As soon as I win, as soon as you win, I enter the bid into this computer. You can immediately go check out. You don't have to wait for the end of the sale. Let's go to 3807 now. We're on Hunt Road, Lapeer. There's a well on this property. At least we think that's what it is. We didn't fire it up or check it or test it or anything. RVs frequent the area, kind of a little communal camp spot area out there by the golf course. We used to have the auction out that way. Hunt Road is the location here. $2,900 is what it says in the book. I'm at $3,300 already online. I've got 9 bidders in this room for that piece of land. If you'll give me $4,000 for that one, show me your card. We're going to play that game again. It gets things done real fast. 4,000, 4,500, 5,000, 5,500, 6,000, 6,500, 7,000, 7,500, 8,000, 8,500, 9,000, 9,500, 10,000, 10 and a half, 11 and a half, 12 and a half, 13 and a half, 14,000 and a half, 15 and a half, 16 and a half, 17 and a half, 18 and a half, 19 and a half, 20,000 and a half, 21 and a half. I'm going to start with you at 21.5. Anybody in the room at 21,750? 21.5 with you. Going once. 21,750. 22 and a quarter. 22 and a half. 22,750. It's only money. 23,000. 23 and a quarter. 23.5. 23,750. 24,000. 24 and a quarter. I got 24,000 with you. Anybody in the room at 24,250? 24,000 going once. Twice. You bought it. 24,000. What's your bidder number, please? You know, I'm good, but not that good. You're going to have to turn that card around. Thank you.
This is the side you don't have to pay.
I know. 24,000. Only one bad comedian in the room at a time, please. 24,231. What's my backup bidder number? 420. Now we're going to go down to number 3814. We're going to sell 4 of them on that page. 3814, Lisa Drive, Columbiaville. It's got an indoor pool. Gonna need some cleaning up, cleaning out, and a general de-stinking. But it is what it is. I got 7 bids online and 5 bidders in the room. It says $3,500. We're not selling it today for $3,500. I'm sorry about your luck. Where are we starting? We're starting at $15,500 according to the sheet I got in front of me, and I know how high they'll go. If you'll, let's play that card game again. Let's start at 16,000, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20,000, 22.5, 25,000, 27.5, 30,000, 31, 32, 33, 34. I'm going to start with you at 34. Anybody in the room want to give me 35? I got more than that bid online. 35 and a quarter. You gonna give me 36? 36 and a quarter.
Yep.
37 and a quarter.
Yep.
38 and a quarter. The online bid, it's real easy to go up $250 at a time.
Yep.
39 and a quarter.
Yep.
40,000, 40 and a quarter.
Yep.
40 and a half. I got $40,250 with an advance bid placed before 11 o'clock today. Anybody in the room want to give me $40,500?
Yep.
Hey, ooh. Now we have an advance bid placed before 11 o'clock today, and somebody bidding that's watching that camera right there. We'll see how long it takes them. I know how high the advance bid goes. We'll see where the online bidder wants to take it. See if he runs it all the way up, or if he goes past, or sometimes we get 3 or 4 other bidders popping in too. We had a piece of property up in Houghton Lake last year. It was an old Holiday Inn, you know those ones that isn't a Holiday Inn anymore, they got like the tarp over the sign, one of those kind of things. Started out on, we only had 2 bidders for that piece of property, old worn out tired hotel. I had 2 bidders for it, both of them online, watching that camera. Started out about $40,000. Nobody in the room wanted it at all. Ended up at almost $400,000. $250 at a time. It took about an hour. Everybody in that room went outside and smoked. Even the people who don't. I'm at $49,500 with an online bidder. Anybody in the room want to give me $49,750? Anybody at all? Then we're going to sell it online, going once, twice. Sold it online for $49,500. The backup bidder is also online. $38.15 is next. We're in Columbiaville still, but now we're out in Reynolds Circle. It's got an attached 2-car garage, sunroom in the back. It's built fairly well, better quality materials. Does have some mold growth in and around it. I am already at $14,500. I've got 7 bidders online in advance of the sale. I know how high their bids go. I've got about a half dozen people in the room here to bid on this one today. If you'll give me $15,000, show me your card, leave it up in the air. Let's get to where we're going a little faster. $15,000, $16,000, $17,000, $18,000, $19,000, $20,000, $21,000, $22,000. I'm going to start with you at $22,000 and 22 and a half. You want to give me 23? What about 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30,000, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35,000, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40,000, 41, 41 and a quarter. I got 41,000 with you. You still like me? 41 and a half, 42 and a half, 43 and a half, 44 and a half, 45 and a half, 46 and a half, 47 and a half, 48 and a half, 49 and a half, 50,000. You're gonna give me 51, 51 and a quarter. I got 51,000 right here. Anybody in the room at 51,250?
Yep.
51,250 online. You want to give me 52, 52 and a quarter. Live bidder watching the camera. 52,000 in the room.
Yep. 53.5.
53.5. How about 54? 54 and a quarter.
Yep.
55 and a quarter.
Yep. 56,250.
56,250. You want to give me 57.5? 57.5 in the room. Now I need 57,750 or more.
Yep.
What about 60,000? 60, family conference. 60,000, now 60 and a quarter.
Yep.
What about 61? 61 and a quarter.
Yep.
62 and a quarter. Online people, it's real easy for them just to click the button.
Yep.
62 and a quarter, 63 and a quarter.
Yep.
64 and a quarter. 64,000 in the room.
Yep.
65 and a quarter. 65,000 in the room.
Yep.
66,000 and a quarter. 66,000
Yep.
and a quarter. 67?
66 and a half.
66 and a half, 66,750.
Yep.
67 now. 67, 10 seconds of my life, I'll never get back. 67 and a quarter.
Yep.
67.5. 67,750.
Yep.
68,000. 68 and a quarter.
Yep.
68.5. 68,750.
Yep.
69,000. All done? I got 68,750 with an online bidder. Anybody in the room at 69,000? What about you guys? I can tell you both got a lot of money. You were out a long time ago? So you're cheap, is what you're telling me. Okay. I got 69,000 right online, or 68,750.
Yep.
Online. Anybody want to give me 69,000?
Yep.
Sick. Uh-oh. Now we got another online bidder. Oh yeah, he's a regular. He just showed up. He was waiting for us to get down to this stretch. It's creeping towards 70,000. If it hits 200,000, I'm buying pizza. One pizza. Because I'm cheap too. I said that at a sale up in Tawas, and it came that close to getting where I was going to have to buy pizza. It was early in the day. We didn't even know if the place was open. We're north of 71,000 now. Got 2 online bidders. Riding the teeter-totter back and forth. They're going pretty quick. We'll see where they end up. Shouldn't take too long. Is that the one you guys came for? 72,750 and doesn't show any signs of slowing down just yet. North of 73,000 now. Slowing down a little bit. 74.5. $75,000 and still going. Are they done? They might be done. $76,250 is where it's at the moment. I need 76.5 if anybody wants to keep on going. 76,250 is bid online. Going once, twice. Sold it online for 76,250. The backup bidder is also online. Number 3816, 10 acres. 10 acres of land, heavily wooded it is, out near Silverwood. I have got 17 bidders online. I got 12 bidders in the room. You might not like my price now though. I'm already at $7,600 with an online bidder. If you'll give me $8,000 for that 10 acres, show me your card. How many do I have? I got a couple. 8,000, 8,500, 9,000, 9,500, 10,000, 10 and a half. I got 10 and a half with you. 11 and a half, 12 and a half, 13,000, 13 there. Anybody in the room want to give me 13 and a half? I got 13 and a quarter online.
Yep.
You want to give me 14,000? 14 and a quarter.
Yep.
What about 15,000? What about 14.5? I got 14,250 bid online before the sale. Anybody in the room at 14.5? 14.5. 14,750.
Yep.
15,000. Now 15.25. Ooh, it just went silent. I've got 15,000. 15.25. New bidder watching that camera right there. 15.5. 15,750. 15.5 in the room.
Yep.
15,750 online. Now 16. All done. I got 15,750 bid online. Anybody in the room at 16,000? 15,750 going once, twice. Sold it online for 15,750. My backup bidder in the back of the room. What's his number back there? It is 212, 217, I should say. 217. Now we're going down to the bottom of that page. Number 3820 is on Gertrude Street in Clifford. There's a couple of rough things here. One of them's the house, the other one is the dog, who says rough a lot. There's a man-eating dog near this one. Be careful if you go out there. 3820, $3,500 is what it says in that book. If you'll give me $4,000, I got a few people here for this one. If you give me $4,000 for that, show me your card. We'll do that card thing one more time. 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. I'm going to start with you at $6,000. Who wants to give me 6,100? Anybody in the room at 61? 61, 62, 63, 63. That would be a great place for your mother-in-law. I got $6,200 right down front. Anybody in the room at 6,300?
Yep.
63 online. 64, now 6,500. 64 in the room.
Yep.
65 online. 6,600, now 67. 66 going once.
Yep.
67 online. 6,800, now 69.
Yep.
7,000, now 7,100 to the online bidder.
Yep.
72, all done. 72, 73.
Yep.
74, 75.
Yep.
76, 77.
Yep.
78, 79.
Yep.
$8,000, now 8,100.
Yep.
82, now 83.
Yep.
84, 85.
Yep.
86, 8,700.
Yep.
You want to go to 9,000? 9, 91.
Yep.
What about 10,000? 10 and a quarter. New bid increment there.
Yep.
How about 11? 11 in the room. 11 and a quarter online.
Yep.
12,000, 12 and a quarter. 12,
Yep.
ooh, 13,000, 13 and a quarter. 13 in the room. Going once.
Yep.
13 and a quarter. 13,500, 13,750. 13,500.
Yep.
13,750. 14,000. Now 14,250. Look at all the empty chairs.
Yep.
14,000. 14 and a quarter.
It's 14.5.
You're at 4, okay. 14,750. 14,500 in the room. 14,750. 14,500 in the room. Going once. Twice. 14,500, 181. Backup bidder is online. We'll come back to clean up in Lapeer in a bit, but for now we're jumping down to St. Clair and going to sell their more popular pieces. 6126 is on Riverside Avenue in St. Clair. The structure is overall solid, but it does need an overall rehab. It's kind of grubby and worn out. Great location, solid bones, but it's going to need a lot of cosmetic and mechanical improvements. There's still some personal property here that belonged to whoever was here last. You're gonna wanna track them down, give them an opportunity to come and get it if they want it. I got 3 bidders online and about 5 here in the room today. My online bids already have me at $25,500. I know how high they'll go. If you'll get me $26,000, show me your card. I see a couple, I should have more than that, but that's enough to start. 26,000, 27, 28, 29, 30,000, 31, 32, 33. I'm gonna start with you at 33,000. Anybody in the room wanna give me 33 and a half? 33 and a half, 34 and a half, 35 and a half, 35 and a half, 35 and a quarter, 35 and a half, 35, 750, 36,000, 36 and a quarter, 36 and a half, 36, 750, 37,000. What about 37.5? 38, 38 and a half, 38 and a quarter, 38 and a half, 38, 750. 39,000, 39 and a quarter, 39 and a half, 39, 750, $40,000, 40 and a quarter, 40 and a half, 40,000, 750, 41,000, 41 and a quarter, 41 and a half, 41, 750, 42,000, 42 and a quarter. You're gonna give me 43, 43 and a quarter, 44, 43 and a half. 43, where am I at with, I'm at 43 over there, 43, 250. 43 over here, 43,000 going once, twice, 43,000, number 216. My backup bidder is 342. At the bottom of that page on Audubon Road, by golly, it's got some water frontage. Waterfront makes people stupid. Acreage and waterfront are 2 things at these sales you can kind of expect to not steal. 6134. Vacant parcel here. It probably is a buildable lot. We suggest you verify that with the health department and the local zoning people. You can park your dinghy right there for the right price. I've got 6 bids online and about a dozen people in the room that came here today to buy this piece of property. I'm at $17,500 already online with an online bidder. I know how high they'll go. If you'll give me $18,000 for that one, show me your card. I should have a bunch of cards here for this at $18,000. I got 3, that's enough to start. 18,000, 19, 20,000, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25,000, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30,000, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40,000, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. I'm going to start with the lady right there at 45,000. Who wants to give me 45 and a half? Anybody in the room at 45.5? 45 and a half, 46 and a half, 47 and a half, 48 and a half, 49 and a half, 50,000, 50 and a half, 51 and a half, 52 and a quarter. I got 52,000 right there. Anybody in the room at 52, 250? 52,000 going once, twice, 52,185. My backup bidder over there is 217, is that what it is? My golly, my memory's not going just yet. Well, it better be. Somebody said that's a beautiful piece of property. On the next page, let's take a little bit of a look at 6141. 6141. This property, to the best of our knowledge, is still occupied. Large house on an acre. It's got a big pole barn, smaller storage shed there as well. I've got 4 bids online. I've got 8 bidders in the room that came here for this one today. The bid listed in that book is $18,000, but we're not starting there. I've got an online bid that starts and goes way past $61,500. I know how high they'll go. If you'll give me $65,000 for that, show me your card now. Let's see where they are. Anybody in the room at $65,000? I see one. Is anybody else in the room at 65? I got 2, 3. Now they're creeping up. Keep the cards in the air until I say a number you don't like. 65,000, 67,500, 70,000, 72,500, 75,000, 77,500, 80,000, 82,500. I've got you at 82,500. I've got more than that bid online. I've got 82,500 there. 82,750.
Yep.
You want to give me 85,000? 85 and a quarter.
Yep.
What about 87,500? 87,500, 87,750.
Yep.
What about 90? 88,000. That's as low as I can go. I've got 87,750 bid online. Anybody in the room want to give me 88,000? 88,000, anybody, anywhere. 87,750 online. Going once. 88, he's back in. You want to give me 88 and a half? How about 89 and a half? 90 and a half. 90 and a quarter. 90 and a quarter online.
Yep.
91 and a quarter.
Yep.
92. You know, the amazing thing about an auction is if you keep bidding, I personally guarantee you'll win. Happens every time. I'm at 91,250 online. Anybody in the room want to give me 91,500? It's just like playing that slot machine. You keep cramming those quarters in, and sooner or later you'll get $1 paid back. 91,250 online, need 91,500. Going once. Going twice. Sold it online, 91,250. My backup bidder in the back of the room was 476. The online bid was willing to go to 110 and a quarter. Got one more to sell in our first go through, 61.51. $61.51. Then back to the beginning of the book. This one also appears to be occupied, at least it was last time we were by. It's on 2.3 acres on Richmond Road. I have got a $5,600 bid already. I've got about a half dozen people in the room that came here for this one today. If you'll give me $6,000 for that one, show me your card. Leave it in the air till I say a number you won't pay. 6,000, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, $15,000. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20,000, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 20, I'm going to start with you, 26 and a half, 27 and a half, 27,000 there in the back row. Anybody in the room want to give me 27 and a half? 27 and a half, how about 28 and a half, 29 and a half, 30,000 and a half, 31 and a half, 32 and a half, 33 and a half, 34 and a half, 35 and a half, 36 and a half, 37 and a half, 38 and a half, 39 and a quarter. 39,000 right there. 39,000 going once. Twice. 39,476. My backup bidder over here, what's her number? 404 is the backup bidder on that one. Now look at that, we got rid of all the tourists. Just the serious bidders, or the people looking for a real screaming deal on something nobody else wants, are still here. Which one are you? Beginning of that book in Lapeer. In my version of the book, it says I got a bunch of bids online for 3,800, but nobody in the room wants it. Is anybody here for 3,800? If not, there's one right there. One of our most faithful, regular, long-time buyers is in the room. Attica Road, occupied trailer on an acre of land. I got $5,100 already bid online. You gonna give me 52? 52. Anybody in the room want to give me 53? I've got 52 there, 53 online.
Yep.
54. 5,400. 53 online. 53 going once.
Yep.
54 with a live bidder. I have an advanced bid and a live bidder. This might take just a second. See how far they want to take it. Some of these ones toward the end, after the popular piece is gone, there'll be pieces that only have online bids, and they can take a while. So we hold them off till the end. $6,100, and it's still going. Now we've got 3 bidders online. Creeping up towards 7,000. Now we're north of 7,000. $7,500 and still moving. Slowing down, just 2 bidders now. 8,100. Still moving along. 83. They're not done yet. $8,500 is where it has leveled off. Anybody in the room at 86? $8,500 is where it's at online. Anybody in the room at 86? 85 going once. Twice. Sold that one at $8,500 online. The backup bidders also online. It says I have bidders in the room for 3,801. Do I have bidders here for 3,801? If I don't, I'll skip it. Anybody here for that one? It's on Attica Road. Not seeing anybody, we'll go right on by it. We already sold 3,802. I should have bidders in the room for 3,803, and I do. We'll open that up. I've got 2 bids online. I know how high they'll go. There's a house near the road. This property sits behind that house and has another house on it. It's got a couple of acres. I'm at $8,100 to start out with the online bid. You want to give me 82 over there? 82. Anybody in the room at 8,300? 83. Gonna give you 85? What about 9,000? 9,500. 10,000. 10 and a half. 11 and a half. 12 and a half. 13 and a half. 14 and a half. 15,000 and a half. 16 and a half. 17 and a half. 18 and a half. 19 and a half. 20,000 and a half. 21 and a half. 21,750. I got 21,500 with you. I've got more than that bid online. 21,750.
Yep.
You're gonna give me 22, 22 and a quarter.
Yep.
23 and a quarter.
Yep.
24 and a quarter.
Yep.
25,000 and a quarter.
Yep.
I've got 25,250 bid online. You're gonna give me 25 and a half? Anybody in the room at 25,500? I've got 25,250 bid online. Going once, one of the regulars.
Yep.
Ooh, now another one. One is an advanced bid, the other one is watching that camera and bidding live. We'll give these a second to shake out. We'll let you know when they're done. We'll let you back in if you want back in when they're done. 25,750 is where it's at the moment. Anybody in the room at 26,000? 25,750 going once. Twice. Sold that one online for 25,750. The backup bidders also online. The next two are not circled in my book. Let's see if anybody wants them. 3804. Anybody in the room for 3804? What about 3805? Sometimes it creeps in that you read something in the book, you think, oh, that looks good, I should buy it. Don't. If you haven't seen something with your own two eyes, that's the one piece of advice I'll give you today, is keep your hands in your pockets. You'll have a happier afternoon. Anybody here for 3806? It's circled in my book by somebody in the room. Are they still here? 3806. Sometimes people circle things that they don't necessarily want. Anybody here for 3806? We'll sell that online later on. On the next page, we already sold 3807. My book tells me I do have a bidder in the room for 3808. Is somebody here for the one on Farmers Creek Road? Couple of you. By golly, let's have a little arm wrestling going on that one. Farmers Creek Road, just a little bit shy of an acre it is. I've got an $850 bid right there. You want to give me $950, $1,000, $1,100, $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500, $1,600, $1,700, $1,800, $1,900, $2,000. You want to give me $2,500? $2,100, $2,200, $2,300, $2,400, $2,500. I got $2,400 over there. Anybody in the room want to give me $2,500? 24 over there going once. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. I got $2,800 at the end of that row going once. 28 going twice. You bought it 2,800, 388. My backup bidder right down here is 1158. My book says I got a couple of bidders in the room for the one that's called 3809, which is just barely less than 8 acres in size on Lapeer Road. Do I have bidders in the room for that? I do. Let's open it up. I've got 3 bids online and a couple of people in the room. Does not appear to have an improved road access to it. You can't get there from the freeway. The state will not allow. So you have to figure out another way to get into it. Great place to park your fleet of helicopters. I've got $4,100 already been in line. You're gonna give me 42, 42. You're gonna give me 4,500? What about 5,000, 55, 6,000, 65, 7,000, 75, 8,000, 85, 9,000, 95, 10,000, 10 and a half, 11 and a half, 12 and a half, 13 and a half, 14 and a half, 15 and a half, 16 and a half, 17 and a half, 18 and a half, 19 and a half, 20,000, 20 and a quarter. Don't let him do you like that. I got 20,000 right there. Who wants to give me 20 and a quarter? Anybody else? 20,000 going once, twice. 20,375. My backup bidder, what's his number? 471. Is there a bidder in the room for, it looks like it's very close to being adjacent to that one, if not adjacent. Also on Lapeer Road. Anybody here for that one? It's 21 acres. Anybody here for that one? All right. I've got a bidder in the room and a couple people online. I'm at $4,500 already with an online bidder. Gonna give me 5,000? 5,000. I got 51 bid in advance online. Gonna give me 6,000 over there? 6. 7,000, 8,000, 9, 10, 11, 11 and a quarter. I got 11 and a quarter online.
Yep.
You gonna give me 12,000? 12 in the room. 12 and a quarter.
Yep.
What about 13,000? 13 and a quarter.
Yep.
How about 14,000? 14 and a quarter.
Yep.
15,000. 15 and a quarter.
Yep.
15,500. 15,750.
Yep.
16,000 in the room. My advance bid is now expired. We'll see if we get any live bidders. I got 16,000 right there. Anybody in the room at 16,250? 16,000 going once.
Yep.
16,250 live bidder watching the camera. 16,500, 16,750.
Yep.
17,000. What about 17 and a quarter?
Yep.
You gonna give me 18,000? 18 and a quarter. 21 acres.
Yep.
What about 19? 19 and a quarter.
Yep.
20,000? 20,000, now 20 and a quarter. Again, no improved access to this. We don't know about easements.
Yep.
20 and a quarter, 21 and a quarter. 21,000
Yep.
and a quarter, 22,000 and a quarter. 22,000.
Yep.
And a quarter. How about 23? Now I need 23,250 online. 23,000 in the room.
Yep.
23,250 online. 24,000 in the room. 24 and a quarter.
We know for this online.
I do not. It says love Jesus 12. So you know your guess is as good as mine.
Yep.
Sometimes there are people in the room that are bidding online. 25 and a quarter, 24 and a quarter, 25 to you. 25 and a quarter. 25,000 in the room.
Yep.
How about 26? 26 and a quarter. Some of the screen names we dare not repeat in the room. We've seen some real zingers. 27,000 and a quarter, because you get to make up your own. 27,000 in the room.
Yep.
What about 28? 28 and a quarter. 28 in the room.
Yep.
29 in the room. Now 29 and a quarter.
Yep.
30,000. 30 and a quarter. 30,000 in the room.
Yep.
30 and a quarter. 31,000. 31 and a quarter.
Yep.
32,000. 32 and a quarter. 32,000 in the room.
Yep.
33,000. 33 and a quarter. 33,000 in the room.
Yep.
34,000. 34 and a quarter. Online bidders, it's real easy for them to go up 250 just by clicking a button. That's why we're doing that.
Yep.
35,000 and a quarter. 35,000 in the room. Going once. Going twice. 35,000 is your price. 35,375. 35,000 sold to number 375. Backup bidder is online. I do not have circles on the bottom two on that page from anybody in the room or online. Is anybody here for 3811? What about 3813? Now let's go to the next page. We've already sold most of these. We already sold 3814, 15, 16, and the one at the bottom. I got 3 left. None of them are circled on my page. Is anybody here for 3817?
Yes.
She is. We'll take your money. 3817. It's going to get sold right now. It's on Willard Avenue out Silverwood way. It needs the roof torn off and put back on the right way. Somebody did kind of a weekender kind of job on it, and now the basement's flooded. Willard Avenue, $4,600. I got bid right there, right? I got it. Anybody in the room want to get me $4,700? $4,600 in the room going once, twice. Sold it to number 118 at the minimum bid. Anybody here for 3818 Main Street in Clifford? Anybody here for that one? If not, we'll skip it. 3819 in Clifford. Anybody here for that one today? We already sold the one at the bottom of that page. On the next page, it says I got somebody in the room that wants to bid on 3821. Is there somebody here? We think this parcel is mostly underwater. Anybody here want it opened up? He does. 3821, looking for a place to put his boat. We don't refer to them as swamps. We like to call them cattail ranches. You can be your very own cattail rancher or frog farmer at a very low price at this sale. 3821. Partly, mostly all marshland. $800 I got bid right there, right? 800. Anybody want to take that fun away from him for 850? I didn't think so. I got $800 right there going once. Twice. Sold it to 1158. They get a lot of money for those cattails at the craft places, you know. Anybody in the room for 3822 today? Let's skip that. My book says I got a bidder for 3823 on 2nd Street in Lapeer. 3823. Anybody here for that one? They changed their mind. Now let's go into St. Clair on the next page. I should have a bidder in the room for 6,100. Anybody here for 6,100? You have a bidder here for that. Where? Oh, okay, didn't see you there. 6,100. This could have old underground storage tanks. You're aware of that? We don't have any proof that it does, but it's the kind of building that looks like it could. You want it that bad, or you want to pass on it? It probably is going to come around at another auction that'll be online in October. What you should do between now and then, find somebody with a metal detector and do some. You don't want to buy that if it does. Maybe the end of your happy marriage. So that will be available later on. Looks like it was an old store or perhaps a gas station property. We want you to be sure what you're bidding on. We don't want it back. I'll put it that way. Anybody else here for 6,100? Do you have a bidder in the room for 6,101? Okay, I do need to advise you, the former owner of this property, let's use the word unhappy. We've been getting emails about filing federal district court proceedings and all kinds of, it's probably just as much fun as those underground tanks would be. You want to bid? It means he's probably going to file a bunch of frivolous lawsuits. He's filing against us. He's filing against the treasurer. He'd be happy to add you to his little dance card. It's not going anywhere. The foreclosure's good. It's just going to come with some nuisance. You ready for that? You're all witnesses. He signed up. I'll be sitting right next to you in the courtroom. I don't care. It's not going to go that far. It'll get punted. Anyway, he's not happy. Maybe not even rational. 61, oh, you know that much, right? Okay. 6101 is where we're at. It's $9,500. There has been fire damage, apparently, to this property. There is some structural decay. He's still hanging around. He does have personal property there. You're going to want to advise him to come and get his things. You're most likely going to have to do district court eviction. I think it's past the stage of negotiation here. $9,500. I've got bid right here in the room. Anybody else want to give me 96? Nobody wants to take that fun away from him. I got $9,500 right here in the room going once, twice. You bought it. What's that bidder number? We thank you for buying that piece of property in St. Clair County. Number 376 at the minimum bid. Anybody in the room want to buy 6102? Look, by golly, look at that. We got a simple one that doesn't have underground storage tanks for crazy people. I don't know, it's crazy, mad. Anybody here for that one? It's landlocked though, that's always fun too. 6108 is circled in my book. She's been waiting for it all day. 2 vacant parcels, Marysville Way. I need $600 for it. I've got it bid right there. Anybody want to give me $650? 600 going once, twice. 368 buys it at the minimum bid. Anybody here for 6109? I should have bidders here for 6110 on Boardman Road, out near Memphis. I do, by golly, let's open that one up. 6110, Boardman Road, occupied as last we knew, has the exterior appearance of being well kept. I have 5 online bids and 3 in the room. I'm already at $30,500 with online bidding. Who in the room wants to give me $31,000? You want to give me 31 right there? Who wants to give me 32? I know how high the online bids go. 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40,000, 41, 42, 43, 43 and a quarter. I got 43,000 with you. Anybody in the room want to give me 43,250? 43,250, 43,500, 43,750, 44,000, 44 and a quarter, 44 and a half, 44,750, 45,000. You all done? I got 44,750 over here. Anybody in the room want to give me 45? She's back at 45, 45 and a quarter, 45 and a half, 45,250 right here. Going once.
Yep.
45 and a half online, 45,750, now 46,000.
Yep.
46 and a quarter, 46 and a half.
Yep.
46,750, 47,000.
Yep.
47 and a quarter, 47,500.
Yep.
47,750, now 48,000.
Yep.
48 and a quarter, he's done. 48,000 with an online bidder. You want back in at 48 and a quarter? She does. 48,500. 48 and a quarter in the back. 48,500, 48,750, 49,000.
Yep.
You want to give me 50? 50,000, now 50 and a quarter.
Yep.
50 and a half, now 50,750.
Yep.
51 and a quarter.
Yep.
51 and a half, 51,750.
Yep.
52,000, 52 and a quarter.
Yep.
52 and a half, 52,750.
Yep.
53,000, 53 and a quarter. 53.
Yep.
53 and a quarter, 53,750, 53 and a half, I should say. 53,750 to the online bidder. 53,500 in the room.
Yep.
How about 54? 54 and a quarter. 54,000 in the room. Going once. Twice.
Yep.
Ooh. 54 and a half. 54,750. 54,500 in the room.
Yep.
54,750. $55,000. Now 55 and a quarter. 55,000.
Yep.
How about 56? You want to put him to sleep? 56 and a quarter. 56,000 in the room.
Yep.
What about 57? 57, now 57 and a quarter. Put the sleeper hold on him, just like the Sheik used to do in wrestling. 57 in the room.
Yep.
What about 58? 58, now 58 and a quarter. 58,000 in the room.
Yep.
59, 59 in the room. Now 59 and a quarter. $59,000. Going once. Going twice. You want it, $59,404. Backup bidder is online. The last three on that page are not circled in that book, in my copy of it anyway. We'll ask here in a second if you're interested. Let me know and sell them to you, otherwise we're going to keep on going. Anybody here today for 6112? 6114? 6122? On the next page, we already sold 6126 and 6134. Anybody in the room want to bid on 6124? What about 6127? 6129? 6130 may have somebody here. Do I have a bidder in the room for 6130? What about 6132, Lake Shore Road? A couple of you. Let's sell that one. 6132. Three undeveloped lots on Lake Shore Road. I've got two bidders online in advance of the sale, a couple more here in the room. I know how high the online bids go. I'm at $2,200 already. Who wants to give me $3,000 for those? $3,000? You want to give me $3,500? How about $4,000? $4,500? $5,000? $46. $45 over here. $46 online.
Yep.
$47. $48.
Yep.
$49. $5,000.
Yep.
$51. $52.
Yep.
$53. $54.
Yep.
$55. $56.
Yep.
You want to give me $6,000? $6,000. $61.
Yep.
$62. $63. I've got $6,200 in the room. Anybody here at $6,300? $63, he's back. $64. $65. $66. $67. $68. $69. $7,000. $71. $72. $73. $74. $75. $76. $77. $78. $79. $8,000. $81. $82. $83. $84. $85. You're gonna give me $9,000 for those? What about $9,500? How about $10,000? 10 and a half? 11 and a half. 11,250. That's as low as I can go. I've got 11,000 right there. Anybody in the room at 11,250? 11,000 going once. Twice. Do it, honey. Is that your wife on the phone? Oh, hello. She could be an imposter. You have a note. I got $11,000 right in front, and the wife telling him that he better do it or not come home. Anybody want to give me 11 and a quarter? 11,000 going once. Twice. They're yours, honey. $328, that's the bidder number, correct? $328. We've never had that before. She said you can also buy anything else you want the rest of the day. 6133, anybody in the room here for that one? I do have them sold online. Anybody here for that? We already sold 6134. 33, let's open that up. I've got two bids on those online already. Empty lot out on King Road. I've got $2,200 already bid online. You're gonna give me 23, 23, 24,
Yep.
25, 26,
Yep.
27, 28. I got $2,700 in the room. Anybody at 2,800? 27 going once, twice.
29.
29, somebody watching that camera. Now 3,000 to you. Now I need 3,100. 3,000 in the room. Need 31. 3,000 going once. Twice. 3,476. Backup bidder is online. We already sold 6134. So let's go down to the next page. On that next page, we sold 6141 at the beginning of the day. Nothing else on that page is circled by anybody in the room, but we'll ask, is anybody here for 6135? Okay, he's been waiting for it. A couple of you snuck in. 6135 Island Drive, Elginak area, small parcel of land. Got a few trees on it, they're thrown in today. $1,900, I got bid right there. You wanna give me 2,000? 21, 22, 23, 3,000, he says. You wanna give me 3,500? 31. 3,000, 31, 32, 4,000, how about 41? I got 4,000 over here. Anybody ever wanna give me 4,100? 4,000 going once. Twice. 4,003, 81. My backup bidders, 3, 1, 2. Do I have a bidder in the room? 4. The next two pieces have what are called conservation easements. Basically, you can buy it, you can pay the taxes on it, you can't do much else there. You get lower taxes in exchange for non-development of the property. Anybody here for 6139 or 6140? Both of those are acreage pieces with non-development agreements in place. Anybody here for those?
Non-development doesn't mean that they can't build on it?
You can't build a house on a conservation easement property. Not from my experience anyway. I've actually got one, they wouldn't even let me cut trees on it.
I'll do 6139.
Okie dokie. 6139, I do have a bid online for it already. It's about 4¼ acres. You can get out of a development agreement, non-development agreement, but you have to pay all the back taxes that weren't paid previously. There's ways out of it, but it's not cheap. $2,800, I do have bid online. 29. You want to give me 29 for it? Okay, I got $2,800 online.
Yep.
And now we've got a live bidder watching the camera, but they heard what I just said. So they just stepped in it of their own free will. $2,900 bid online. Going once, twice.
Yep.
They're not quite done yet. 3 bidders, all wanting in on that land. You get to pay taxes. That's like paying for a car you can't drive. Also known as alimony. $3,000 online. Anybody want to give me 31? 3,000 going once, twice. Sold that one online, $3,000. I don't think anybody in the room is interested in the other one, 6140. 6141 we already sold. I do have some online bids for 6142. Anybody in the room want me to open those up? On the next page, my book says I've got a bidder for 6146 on Pickford Avenue in Kimball. Do I? Over there I do. 6146. $700. By golly, look at that. 700 I got in the room. Anybody want to give me 750? 700 going once, twice. Sold it to 229 at the minimum bid. I should have bidders in the room for 6147 on Moat Street. Do I? Anybody? Yes, we do. Let's get the arm wrestling underway. 6147, I've got 2 bids online already, 3 bids online for this one. The lights are on, nobody's home some of the times. There could be somebody here in and out. They may be using it for storage. They may have moved, but still come back. Moat Street, I've got a $5,200 bid online. I know how high they'll go. You gonna give me 5,500? Anybody in there want to give me 6,000? Anybody here for this one at 6? I've got 56 online.
Yep.
6,000? I've got $5,600 online. Anybody in the room want to give me 57? $5,600 online going once.
Yep.
Now we got some live bidders online. One's an advanced bid, one is a live bidder. We'll let them ride the teeter-totter for a minute and see where it ends up. You guys didn't spend any money today, did you? No, that's, you know, you violated Rule 74B. I know. See you next year. 7,000, and it's still going online. $7,500. 1, 2, 3 bidders online. You're not leaving me yet, are you? I'll feel lonely if you do. They're still bidding. 8,400. Still 3 bidders, but they might be done. Anybody want to give me 8,500? I've got $8,400 online. Going once, twice. Sold it online, 8,400. Anybody in the room here today for 6148 on Minnie Street? What about 6149 back on Moak Street, vacant lot, over there? Let's open it up. 6149. It's got trees all over it. I need $800. I've got 800 online. 850 over there. Now I need 9. I've got $850 in the room. Going once, twice. 850, number 202. My backup bidder is online. Land baron at work. What about 6150? Anybody want 6150? You get to knock it down and pay for it too. Not interested? What about 6151? We already sold. We're running out. Christmas is coming. Buy now. This is the time. 6153 also needs to be cleaned up and some demolition done. It's only going to cost you $80,000. Anybody want that one? 6153? I didn't think so. Don't all throw your cards up at the same time. One more left. 6154. Undeveloped roads, Mill Street, where it should be anyway, in K-Pac. Anybody here for 6154? Then by golly, we're all done until next year. Thanks for coming. We're going to sell a few more online. If we have things that people online wanted, nobody in the room wanted, we're going to sell those in just a few minutes. Won't be announcing them, just going to show them on the screen.